Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Nation's Pastime in the Nation's Capital. I'm your host, Andrew Snaith, here with my co-hosts James Higgins and Robbie Cruz, and we have a fantastic show planned for you tonight. Spring training in full swing. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the headlines we've seen through the first weeks of spring training here, and then get into a full-on discussion with our predictions, starting with the National League. This will be part of a three-part series, part one, where we examine this week the National League, next week the American League, and then following spring break we will examine the playoff picture and have some award predictions. But before we get to that, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. As a reminder, we are live right here on WCUA Radio every 8 to 9 p.m. on Wednesday nights. If you want to go ahead and follow our Twitter, that is at NatPastimeCap. Please go follow that. Would love to get some more followers on that page there, at NatPastimeCap. All of our shows are posted there in podcast form the day after as well. You can get that through a YouTube link. Go ahead and listen to that in the background with whatever you're doing, or go ahead and share it with anyone else you might want to do so. And also a reminder, always taking calls here on Nation's Pastime and the Nation's Capital. That number is 202-319-5106, 202-319-5106. So with that out of the way, why don't we talk a little bit about some of the big headlines that we've been seeing through spring training so far. And I think we can't have this discussion without first talking about injuries and the New York Yankees, because it was a team that we saw last year was plagued with injuries throughout the year and still managed to win 100 games. Robbie, my question to you to start this off, is it going to be another year like that?
Well, before I get into the answer to that, I understand that a lot of Yankee fans are really nervous out there. They think that this could possibly affect the season, and rightly so. Losing Luis Severino and obviously James Paxton until, May?
Around there for
Around
Paxton,
then.
yeah.
That's obviously going to kill your rotation. J. Happ is our number 3 starting pitcher. J. Happ.
Aren't you glad you didn't trade him now?
Just let that sink in. We're probably going to have to use the opener again, but whatever. So be it. Point being, I'm not worried about the Yankees' performance as a whole with this injury. I'm really worried about Luis Severino's career. And I'm not upset because, the Yankees chose to pay him $40 million, $10 million a year, and he's not pitching. No, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about him as a person because he's one of my favorite pitchers, and honestly, I don't know if he's going to be able to recover. I'm worried he's going to be Nathan Eovaldi 2.0. I really hope he's not, because if he was, that would really suck. But going back to the question, is it going to be that kind of year again? I really hope not, because honestly, it's disgusting. It's annoying to see. Seeing Stanton play, 10 games last year was awful.
Yeah.
Seeing Luis Severino pitch 10 innings last year. Seeing Del Betances only get 2 outs in the season. Absolutely awful, and I don't want to have to see it again. There's no way I'm going to be able to tell if that's going to happen again, because you can't predict injuries. But going back to the main point, I'm really worried about Luis Severino's career. I'm worried that Stanton is made of glass, for crying out loud. He was one of the most durable players in baseball when he was with the Marlins. He comes over to the Yankees and he's getting injured left and right. I don't understand this. I don't know if it's the training staff or what. They fired half of the people in their training staff this offseason, so I don't know if it's them. I don't know why. My guess is the Yankees are just a cursed baseball team. There's nothing that they can do about this.
Yeah, you got to start to question if there's something going on in the development, not the development department, but the health department there. I don't know
your question.
what it is.
The training staff.
You think it is?
They fired half the people in the training staff.
Well, here's
this
the thing:
offseason,
if you're competent with your screenings and your MRIs at the end of the season, and they actually come out clean, you have Paxton get the back surgery in October and November, so he starts rehab 3 months earlier. Severino had the lingering elbow and shoulder injuries all last year through only 20 innings. So obviously something was wrong there, and then they couldn't get through with the MRI of the elbow because something with the thigh until now. Like, you're telling me you couldn't see that in November if somebody competent was there? Curt Schilling tweeted out yesterday that whoever was responsible for this should be fired, and I would personally agree with him. Because, if you're the Yankees, this is one of your best pitchers. He was dealing with an injury all last year, only through 20 innings. How do you not monitor this going into the offseason? And before I knew that this was going to require season-ending Tommy John surgery when the original injury came out, you had to see that there was a problem with Severino, that he can't throw more than 2 days in a row without some elbow soreness.
Yeah.
This is more than just a case of your spring training dead arm.
Well, going back to last year, I remember I said multiple times, I don't trust starting pitchers that throw 100 miles per hour. You rarely see them work out. You get your occasional Garrett Coles and Nolan Ryans and Randy Johnsons, but to me, Severino wasn't on that level. He was a guy who was very good, but I just did not see him consistently staying healthy.
According to David Ross, he was the best pitcher in baseball in the first half of 2018.
Luis Severino?
I was just poking at David Ross.
Oh, is that what David Ross said? Yeah. Okay.
I didn't even realize he said that. But
No,
The thing
it's
is-
a very interesting
the thing is,
conversation. Yeah.
From what I read by multiple people saying that Luis Severino thought that the injury was just going to go away, and it just didn't. So maybe he was keeping this a secret from the Yankees. Maybe he was saying, okay, if I let my arm rest in the offseason, I'm going to come back throwing harder than ever. My arm's going to feel great again, and that's what it's going to come down to. Maybe that's what it was, and the Yankees didn't know anything about it. That's very possible.
Well, yes.
And honestly, that's my guess as to what happened, is Luis Severino simply didn't want to back down and say, I'm going to get surgery. I think he wanted to say, if I sit out the offseason, then I'll come back and I'll be healthy and ready to go for spring training.
Well, also, I think there comes a territory of wanting to play, but also, like, if the UCL was never brought up in those testings and by any doctors, and he was told that rest and rehab would be the best form of recovery, then I don't think there was anything to hide. I just think the Yankees flat out got the diagnosis wrong. I think that's what it comes down to. And you're looking at a guy who signed a 4-year, $40 million extension last offseason that was perceived as a bargain by most, and he's thrown 20 innings, and now it'll be the first 2 years in the extension.
Well,
so he's making $20 million. He's making $20 million for throwing 20 innings. Like that just now. And another point I want to bring up: they signed Hicks to another arbitration to buy out a couple free agency extensions, 7 years, $70 million. He had Tommy John, so they're not getting value out of the guys who they signed to the pre-arbitration free agency extensions that they thought they were getting good value for.
You know, last year, many times, and you will attest this, Andrew, I hated that Hicks deal from day one. Did I not?
Well, I was not saying you didn't like. I wasn't saying you did not like it. I was just saying that they haven't gotten value out of those signings.
Okay, the difference between the Hicks signing and the Severino signing is the Hicks signing makes me angry because I think that this is a terrible deal for the Yankees. I think that Hicks got a steal out of it. The fact they got 7 years, but with Luis Severino, it's the Yankees. It's only $40 million. It's not going to kill him in the long haul. Like I said, I'm just worried about his career rather than the team value. That's what it comes down to.
That's fair.
Because I'm worried he's going to become Nathan Eovaldi 2.0. I'm worried he's going to become Jabba Chamberlain 2.0.
Oh, man.
I'm worried that he's not going to be able to recover and be the same pitcher again. Do you know how many pitchers have had this injury and were not able to be the same?
A lot.
More people than not. Matt Harvey's another example. What if he's just another Matt Harvey?
I mean, I would like to think that he's a little more talented than Matt Harvey was at this point, but
Matt Harvey
Matt Harvey
was extremely talented. He was on top of the world.
At this point, though, I mean, what happened to him? That's the thing.
2015 Game 5.
It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
That's why
2015 Game 5 couldn't get out of his head. And it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I'm so worried about this injury. I see the shadows of Matt Harvey in the corner. I see these shadows, and I'm worried that Severino's going to go down this road. I really hope and pray that this doesn't come true because I really like him. He's a lot of fun to watch, but he's going down the same road as these other people.
You know, it's a very good point that was also made there about James about the pre-arbitration deals not working out. We actually saw 2 more of those happen this week in what seems to be a trend throughout baseball.
Passan said, look out for a flurry in the next few weeks.
I was just about to say, Passan said to look out. You're going to see a lot more of these deals that take players through their arbitration years and maybe a year or two in additional. The 2 we saw in the past week, of course, Aaron Bummer, left-handed reliever for the White Sox. Very good deal. He was a fantastic left-handed reliever out of the pen last year for the White Sox. And the other one today, of course, being Freddie Peralta with the Milwaukee Brewers.
5 years, $16 million for Bummer, and then 5 years, $15 million for Peralta.
So almost exactly the same deal.
But 2 options on Peralta's deal can push it up to $30 million.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So I mean, it seems like this is the trend that we're moving forward. Where
Ozzie Albies, Acuna,
they did
Bregman.
that. Yes, Bregman did the 5-year, $100 million when he did that.
That's a bargain.
Yeah,
best bargain in baseball.
Right after Severino.
5 years, $100 million.
Oh,
for
yeah,
Bregman. That's best bargain in baseball.
And also, if you remember, right after Severino, that's when Nola signed almost the exact same deal he did. We're seeing this all over baseball, and it seems like we're going to see it more and more. The pattern is going to buying out the arbitration years plus an additional one with some options.
The Red Sox need to talk to Devers. The Nationals need to talk to Soto. And who else am I missing? Like big that.
I mean, those are the 2 big ones I can think about. Yeah. Honestly, I am looking back on some of the other players that have signed it. It really surprised me a guy like Acuna signed that. I feel like he could have gotten a lot more money.
They can get a lot more, but I think a common trend.
Security.
Young players want security, and especially someone from a background like Acuna, like he's Venezuelan, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So like obviously they don't. Like he came from nothing, and I mean, like yes, you like Acuna could get $250 million, but I mean $150 million. That's a
That's the
bunch
same
of
thing
money.
happened with Eloy because he got that before he even debuted.
He got
Eloy
6 years,
Smith is-
42 million, I believe.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 60. Yeah,
and that shattered the previous record.
Kingery, right?
Was Kingery was 6 years, 24 million.
And didn't they just sign Luis Robert, or are they not doing that yet?
I don't
No,
think
they
they
haven't
did.
signed
Oh,
him
this
yet.
is the name who we forgot about, and it's perfect that we're talking about the White Sox. They're talking with Moncada right now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
The framework is between 6 and 9 years, between 130 and 170 million. That's a guy who they need to lock up.
Yes, I agree.
Because he will be an
especially
all-star
with
for
him
years to
being
come.
the biggest piece in return for Chris Sale when they decided to deal him.
And last year, he finally broke out.
he did finally
broke out
Finally
last year.
showing
I'll
what we
tell you
thought
though,
Yohan Moncada would be.
He's going to look for an opt-out after a few years, though.
Oh, I
thinking
mean,
that?
yeah, probably.
Of course.
But
to have that security, like James said,
Exactly.
is just very important for a lot of these young players, especially ones who have known nothing but poverty their entire lives. This is huge for them. You're gonna flash them $100 million, and could they make more? Yes, but that's still $100 million, and that's a lot of money to them. So yeah, that's definitely something to look out for. As Jeff Passan reported earlier today, we will probably be seeing a lot more of those in the next week. Before we join you again, we will be sure to talk about them. Final piece of news before we get into the NL breakdown has to do with Tim Tebow, who he is still out here playing for the New York Mets in their farm system. Made it to AAA last year. He's at spring training right now as a non-roster invitee, I believe.
Yep.
And he went ahead and hit a home run yesterday. And I believe that is his first spring training home run ever,
is.
correct?
Yeah, good for Tebow.
Good for Tim Tebow. And to go along with that fantastic news, he also announced today that he will be playing for Team Philippines in the 2021 World Baseball Classic.
Do you guys
which is very cool to
Do
see.
you guys know what he hit in AAA last year?
Like 230 something?
I'm going to guess 176.
194. So
Oh,
good
boy.
start for Tebow.
All right.
Good start
Tim
for Tebow this
Okay,
year.
also, I forget who it was. There was somebody that hit a home run, and Tim Tebow might have had one of the worst ran routes I've ever seen from a left fielder. Did you see that video?
I did see
Did you
the
see it?
video.
Was it last year?
No,
No,
it was
it was
this
this year.
past
It was
I
spring
have not
training,
seen it.
yeah.
I forget who hit the home run, but
He's not a baseball player. He's just not. Look, I love Tim Tebow. I love his story. I love him as a person. I love everything he tries to do, especially with his charity work. He's not a baseball player.
Can we
He's
talk about
really
one more
not.
thing?
Absolutely.
Stanton.
Yes.
We forgot about Stanton. with the whole
Giancarlo Stanton. We
Severino
talked
thing.
about him a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think the main question I want to ask with Stanton as
Sorry,
as,
Robbie.
as the
We
fan
got to
of
bring
the-
it up, Robbie. We got to bring it up.
hey, can we talk about Chris Sale while we're at it?
Sure.
Chris, my Chris Sale's looking fine in spring training. But no, Giancarlo Stanton. So yes, as the fan of the team that is paying him the rest of his $200 and whatever million contract that he's owed here, Grumbles here next to me. Let's talk about the fact that he really does seem to be made of glass. He played 10 games last year, and now he's hurt again. Aaron Boone said today, it's an indefinite amount of time he's going to miss? He doesn't know an exact
He
length.
said it's a little bump or something, like a little
it's
bump
a
in the
calf
road.
injury.
I
It
don't
can't
know.
be that bad.
No, I thought he said he had no idea when he'd be back. Like, he won't be ready for opening day.
He
is
will
what
not be
said.
ready for opening day, definitely
Yes,
not. And this is what they
correct.
said about the bicep strain last year that kept him out almost the entire season.
That's what I'm saying. So it could easily turn into something more.
Well, with the bicep strain, he missed, I believe it was like 3 or 4 months. Comes back. The day he comes back, he slides
right.
into third base, and then he does something else. I don't even want to
Probably hurt
think
his
about
groin.
it. It was his groin, something, whatever it was. Listen here, ladies and gentlemen. The facts of the matter is that Giancarlo Stanton is a New York Yankee. We gave up not very much to get him, so we can't be too upset.
Oh, you're
But
paying a
we
heck
are
of a
still
lot for
paying
him.
him over
that
$200
was the
million.
biggest thing.
We are paying him over $200 million, and last year he played 10 games. The year before that, he only played 147. He can't stay healthy. And if we are going-
147?
It was something. Yeah.
No, that's good.
That's good for him, yeah.
No.
That's good for pretty much anyone.
No, I'm saying you're going from 147 to 10
Oh, I
to
see.
this.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And we need him to win the World Series. The
you
lineup
don't.
is really good, but we can't stick Brett Gardner out there in the outfield
Well,
if we're going to win the World
Right.
Series.
Well, also, I think you have to remember Judge is still dealing with the shoulder injury. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's something that's not being talked about a lot. Is that
Well,
Judge?
he's going to start playing next week, though.
Okay, yeah, but they also said that about Stanton. And I think the thing that we have to remember about Stanton is that calf injuries linger. Like calf and hamstring injuries, they nag, they linger. Like Donaldson a couple of years ago, his last year in Toronto, he wasn't the same guy the whole year because the calf strain. Corey Seager dealt with something. It like those. The calf injuries linger, and it could take Stanton a full season for it to just fully go away.
And here's my other thing with Giancarlo Stanton, as before his injury plague seemed to happen these past 2 years, probably the most prolific power hitter in baseball. Unbelievable power. Here's my thing with him. This, if it keeps being a pattern, is really going to start hurting his chances to get 500 home runs. And I got to tell you something. If you would have asked me 3 years ago who I think is a surefire doubt no doubt to get 500 home runs. I would have said Stanton. He was on an unbelievable pace. He's got the power. He's got the contract that he's going to be playing for the next 10 years.
He was everyone's
playing
favorite
Yankee
player with the
Stadium.
Marlins.
He's playing in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't. If he keeps this up, he's really hurting his chances here. Because if you think about it, Giancarlo Stanton, normal Stanton is what 34 or above home runs around that area.
Yeah.
This is now going to be 2 straight years where he's not getting those 34 home runs.
No, I wouldn't go that far yet
Oh, you
because
don't
we
think- you
we
think
don't
he's
know
still
how
hot?
long he's going to be out for. I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to stay positive on this one, and I'm going to say that Stanton is going to miss 2 weeks, just
right.
2 weeks of the regular season.
So-
He's going to come back.
You're saying the
and-
whole season he's just going to miss 2 weeks? Like he's not
No,
going to have
no,
something
I'm
else
saying
later
with
in
I'm
the
this
saying he
season?
gets something else.
I don't think he's
Yeah.
going to get something else.
Okay.
You know what?
Well,
Look, Matt, power to him. I hope he doesn't. I love Giancarlo Stanton.
here's
He
the
used to be my
thing is
favorite
that
player.
yeah, that's what I was saying. He used to be everyone's favorite player in Miami,
Yes,
and
and now
everyone
everyone
loved him.
hates him.
Everyone.
Oh, I love
I
him.
wouldn't say everyone hates him, but you can't root for him now that he's a
No.
Yankee unless you're a Yankees
No,
fan.
I was just telling Robbie this
Yankee
the other
fans
day.
ain't rude.
Giancarlo
Stanton was
Stanton's-
everyone's boy in Miami.
He stopped being my favorite player the second he traded to the Yankees.
Same with Jared. I think
was
he stopped
so
being
sad.
everyone's favorite player.
I
Who
love
did-
Stan.
like,
I loved watching him.
I like when I'm bored. I love going to watch Stanton highlights and Barry Bonds home run highlights.
Oh, my
Because if I want to
favorite
see
one-
4 home runs, like
Okay,
that's what I go
Giancarlo
look.
Stanton. There's real quick. This is a side here. Favorite highlight. I'm going to tell you mine real quick. I want to hear yours. Jamie Moyer, 69 mile an
I know
hour
what you're saying.
curveball. He hits a grand slam that breaks the scoreboard in Marlins Park. Jamie Moyer promptly retires.
Mine is when he actually hit number 50 on Players Weekend in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
Because the game was tied and he untied in the 8th and he went crazy. And I got a second one. Jason Grilli in Texas in 2017 struck him out
Wait,
and
Jason
was
Grilli
mocking
with
him.
Texas in
Yes, he
2017.
was.
And then
I
the
remember
next
this.
night, Stanton hit a bomb onto the grass, and he did his mock down the first
Yeah,
baseline.
yeah.
Those are probably my 2
Another
favorite
good one,
Stanton
the
moments.
Mother's Day walk-off grand slam
Yes.
from 2000, I believe, 14. It
Yes.
was around there,
Well,
13. Oh,
the
man.
biggest thing I was going to say about Stanton. Do you want to go ahead with your?
Well, I mean,
The wild card game where he went like,
The
second
DL?
deck?
No,
the
if
DL?
if I
That
had
your
time he
favorite?
hurt himself and went on the DL.
if I had to pick one, okay, I gotta
Don't
go.
say him getting hit in the face. By Mike Fires, by the way.
Oh,
By Mike
that was
Fires.
sad.
I obviously got to go with that walk-off home run he had last year.
Okay,
But if we're
all right.
talking about his Miami days, it was the most impressive home run I've ever seen. I forget who it was also off of. This man hit a line drive home run to right field. It was 112 miles an hour
Yeah,
off the bat.
yeah.
The ball just kept on going. Most
remember
impressive
that.
home run I've ever seen to right field.
Yeah.
We're not seeing this as Yankee fans. We're not seeing this from
Well,
as
that was in
baseball
Marlins
fans.
Park, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that all of Stanton's injuries with Miami seem to be like the unlucky type of injuries. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like broke his wrist getting hit by a pitch. He got hit in the face. He had a I think he hurt his meniscus in his knee. Like it's all the unlucky types. But now in New York, you're seeing a lot of the nagging injuries, a lot of the injuries of someone who
He's getting older, honestly.
well, getting older, and I'm not trying to draw any suspicion here, but someone whose body's breaking down from steroid usage.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not
he
either.
has-
But
it's
like,
a-
if you look at the injuries the last couple of years, like these are the kind of injuries that you see from guys whose body.
I'm not arguing you, but you really hope not, especially.
I hope
because-
not either, and
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that Stanton
Yeah.
juiced up at all, but I mean it's something to consider.
It definitely is. I mean, he's that much power. You know, it wouldn't be a surprise. I would say, but at the same time, you know, you just really hope it's just all that we're all.
And again, this is all speculation, probably
Yes.
stupid speculation on my part, but you
know
can
what?
never rule anything out.
I got a bold claim though.
All right.
Miguel Andujar is going to step in Stanton's place, and
Oh,
he's going to have
he
a big
is?
season.
All
Is he
right.
going to do
Andujar.
that while also leading the league?
We could
in
talk about
errors
that
at
next
third
week on
base?
our American League show. How good Andujar is going to be.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said he's going to do that while also leading the AL in errors.
He's
in
playing the
left
outfield.
field.
He's playing the outfield
Oh,
this
they're
season.
putting him in the outfield.
Yeah, they put him in the
no,
outfield
they
today.
are not.
They put him in the outfield.
Well, he can't get errors if he misjudges fly balls that go over his
That's
head.
a good point. He can still miss them when he's
Just
charging
stop
them.
it.
Though.
Hey, JD Martinez misjudges a lot of fly balls.
That's why
He's
they
an
DH
outfielder.
him.
JD Martinez doesn't play in the outfield that much. They keep him off his feet.
DH
In
him.
the NL he does, and this is an NL show, isn't it?
Wait. If
Aren't we
Stanton
talking about
is
the
hurt,
NL today?
That's fine. But before we get into that, I do want to say, is Stanton not the DH when he's healthy?
Yeah, he'll be the DH.
Okay, so why would
Is
you not
he
just
ever
put
healthy?
No, but why? But why would you not just put him in left and put Andujar?
That's
at
what they're
DH?
going to do. Andujar's going to be the DH. Stanton's going to be the outfielder.
Okay.
Many people forget, God bless him, he has a cannon of an arm. It's just
Andujar?
that- No, Stanton.
Oh, Stanton. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Stanton
But
does.
the
Yeah.
problem with Stanton is that whenever he tracks down a fly ball, he will run and get injured. He also can't catch fly balls sometimes, folks. It's very simple.
But he can throw.
He can throw, but he can't catch fly balls. He can't stay healthy, and at times he can't hit. The man has struck out 5 times in a game before against the Orioles.
That was a good.
0
night.
for 5
That was-
against the Orioles.
Was that not the? That was the first month he was a Yankee. It was the first 2 weeks he was a Yankee, and your entire stadium booed.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
What is this?
Is that the platinum sombrero? Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the platinum sombrero. Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, he can hit home runs
I
and he
haven't
can
seen
strike
anybody
out.
get that since Pablo Sandoval with the Red Sox, but that's for another story.
He did do
Pablo
Yeah, he did.
Sandoval, the
I
legend.
believe he did.
Yeah, I know. There's
There's a lot of
All
great
right,
stories about him. All right, well, moving on from the talk there from the Yankees and their plethora of injuries, which will probably only increase by next week. Sorry about that,
The
Robbie.
Philly.
NL show.
Hey, we're about to talk about the NL. You can talk about the
I'm going to
Phillies
be talking
in a
about the
second.
Phillies. Oh, don't worry.
So let's get right in that discussion. As we said, this is a first part in a 3-part series here, courtesy of James, by the way. Fantastic idea on his part. We're going to break it up into 3 episodes. NL this week, AL next week, and then we'll take a break for spring and be back right around opening day time with playoff and award predictions. So let's get right into it. I know we all have some ideas of how we think the divisions are going to line up, and we also have some notes on certain teams and what they need to do in order to make the difference in 2020 to make the playoffs. Do you guys have lists that you believe are just going to be like pretty much set, like the divisions, like 1 through 5?
I have contending teams, but I haven't necessarily set an order yet.
Okay, so I have an order. Do you want me to go ahead and just read my order?
We
to start,
can
and
all
you guys
go
can
ahead.
pick it apart?
I also have an order.
Okay, you guys both have an order. You guys can go
So
first.
we can
and
read
then
them, and then you guys can pick them apart. The other two can pick them apart. You want to do that?
Sure, and then I'll read my teams. Like I'll give my
Yeah.
official predictions in 3 weeks when we do the league wide thing, like
Sure.
official for everything, if that's fine.
That's fine with
All
me.
right.
Sounds good. All right. I guess I will start off here with the NL East, the home division of my Philadelphia Phillies.
I say
going
also
to
go
yes.
divisions in order, and then we'll pick everything apart at the end.
Yes, divisions in
Yep,
order.
yep.
Then we'll do that. Absolutely. All right. NL East. I have the Braves taking it and following in order the Phillies, Nationals, Mets, and Marlins. I'll get my wild cards at the end as well. In the Central, I have the Reds taking the Central, followed by the Cardinals, Cubs, Brewers, and Pirates. And in the West, I, of course, have the Giants. I'm joking. I have the Dodgers, of course, taking the West. I don't think anyone else has any other team taking the West. But followed in second place by the D-backs, Padres, Rockies, and Giants. My 2 wild cards. Wild card number 1 goes to the St. Louis Cardinals. Wild card number 2 to the Phillies.
No Diamondbacks.
I have in my notes about the Diamondbacks,
Okay.
and I will get to that.
That was just my first question.
Yeah,
no
actually,
hate on the Phillies, but like Diamondbacks are going to be a good team
yes.
this year, I
so
think.
I actually have right here under my Cardinals and Phillies section, Diamondbacks could easily replace either the Phillies or the Cardinals for a wild card spot. And I feel very strongly because if you have Escobar, who had a great year last year, have another one like that, and if you have Ketel Marte, who's now playing second again, to
Jake
make room
Lamb
for
bounced
a
back.
fantastic outfield. Jake Lamb is back. They have Starling Marte in the outfield. They signed Cole
Ketel Marte
Calhoun, who
still.
had 30 home runs last
Nick
year.
Ahmed,
Nick Ahmed,
Gold Glove at shortstop. Great
two-time Gold
extension.
Glover.
Great extension. 4 years,
Fantastic
$32 million. Great extension.
And not to mention, they signed Madison Bumgarner to go to rotation. They
Right.
already had a very strong lefty, Robbie Ray, in it. The only question there, and I think this question is going to repeat through a lot
You
of
mean
the
Mason
NL
Saunders?
teams, is the bullpen. What?
Mason Saunders.
Yes, Mason
Oh, my
Saunders.
God.
Yes.
Well, who's going to be their closer? Is it going to be Archie Bradley?
That's
Yeah,
my
it's gotta
thing.
be.
It was Rodney
Outside-
last year, right?
It was,
No, it was Bradley.
No, it was Bradley.
No, it was Bradley. Rodney was 2 years ago. My
Yeah,
fault.
Rodney was 2 years ago.
Brad-
yeah. It's okay. It's Fernando Rodney. He's building
Yeah,
a
yeah.
team under the sun. That's my problem. Only problem with the D-backs is after Archie Bradley, who else do they have in there?
Trade
That's my only
piece.
thing.
I think that's how they're going to have to
Easily.
do it.
Yeah, they'd have to trade up.
Just
for
like
that.
they traded for JD a couple years ago. If they go out and get a piece of the deadline, and I will actually be down with the Diamondbacks, like literally with the Diamondbacks in 2 weeks of spring training.
Yeah, oh, that's
I
right.
will
you
literally
mentioned
be
that.
with the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks.
Let us know how they're doing.
I will.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
But yes, I think that they could easily replace either team. I'll just do the 2 notes real quick before you guys go ahead and pick apart the divisions on the
Sure.
wildcard teams. Cardinals, my prediction for the Cardinals, I feel like they're a very talented team. They did subtract Marcell Ozuna and did not add a whole lot this offseason, but I feel like the dominance of Jack Flaherty is going to continue, minus the postseason. I think Jack Flaherty is just a fantastic talent.
Just like
think
I
he's gonna-
talked about last
I
year,
love
the
him.
postseason.
I love
yeah.
watching Jack Flaherty. I think he's going to have a Cy Young caliber year. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I think he's going to dominate. And the other key to the Cardinals and making the playoffs this year, I believe, is a bounce back from Matt Carpenter. And I feel like it's very possible. He made some comments today about he thinks, don't count me out. He thinks he's having a bounce back year. He's still a very solid person there. I don't even think he's listed as their starting third baseman right now, but I feel like
It's Tommy
he should
Edman.
be. It is Tommy Edman, yeah, the rookie from last year. So I think his resurgence, Flaherty's dominance, is going to lead them to a wild card berth. However, the D-backs could easily replace them or the Phillies. And speaking of the Phillies, of course, we just talked about the bullpen with the Diamondbacks. A healthy pen is key. Remember, I've said this multiple times on the show and to people who always doubt my Phillies and their bullpen, but last year we lost every single piece except for Hector Neris from opening day, and we had absolute scrubs replacing them. I mean, we had guys like Nick Vincent, Fernando Salas, oh my gosh, Hughes, Parker, Mike Morin. It was just abysmal, and these were the guys that were being counted for in high leverage situations. and we still managed to win 82 games. So if you can win 82 games with an absolutely horrid bullpen like that, the difference of getting guys like Dominguez back, who is going to be huge for us, who should be ready by opening day, Adam Morgan, an elite lefty who has, well, not an elite lefty, but a very good lefty who has also very good numbers against righties, which is important with the 3-batter split. Tommy Hunter's going to be back and healthy, Victor Arano, and even possibly, as Joe Girardi and this player mentioned the other day, David Robertson could be back by September. That is a little lofty, but he thinks it's possible if everything goes right, and that would be a huge piece for them trying to make a run in September. So I think it all comes down to the bullpen.
No Nationals?
Nationals is actually another point I have there. Their loss of Rendon, to me, is such a serious hole behind Juan Soto that I don't see them being able to go ahead and make the playoffs again this year.
Like, you see that knocking them down like 10 or 11 wins?
I
like
really do.
Like, as
he
good
was
as Rendon...
What, a 7-8 win player last year?
No, he was a phenomenal player, absolutely. I think he was a 7.5 win
but
player.
I think it also has to do with the fact that Soto saw a lot more pitches than he would have if Anthony Rendon was not behind him. Who's protecting him now? Is it Starlin Castro? Eric Thames?
I think they're going to... Well, at least today, they slid Turner in the 3-hole. So
you see, and I could see that, him protecting someone else. But to me, Soto's your guy. You got to have him the protection. In my opinion, the additions were really good. Like, I really like what the Nationals did with Will Harris.
It's just like what they did
with
last
Castro.
offseason. They built like a solid...
They built a solid...
And obviously
I love the
Strasburg.
Thames signing. I think that's really underrated because he can platoon with Zimmerman at first base there. But it all comes down to me that they picked the wrong guy to sign. They should not have signed Strasburg. And I know why they did it. We talked about it on here endlessly. They love Strasburg. He's their guy, and they love starting pitching. But I just think they have so much focus on starting pitching, and they just signed the wrong guy. It should have been Anthony Rendon. They needed him more than they needed a third ace in that rotation. Scherzer and Corbin could have easily sufficed, along with Sanchez, who was still there.
I completely agreed that Rendon was more important than Strasburg. But what about Carter? What about the emergence of Carter Kieboom?
That's also a wild card.
He's top 20 prospect in baseball.
I don't trust him defensively.
He's a third baseman, correct?
He is.
Natural shortstop, I think.
But they'll probably have him play third.
They'll have
him
play third.
Yeah,
and he struggled last year in his 20 games that he came up. But I mean,
and a couple throwing errors already.
I know, but look, like here's the thing: like it took Bryce Harper 2-3 years to like fully get acclimated until he was like a stud. It took Trout like half a year. It took
Trout half a year. Yeah.
No. All of 2011.
It's just funny. It took him half a year.
It took Vladdy all of last year. Like it's hard to play in the major leagues. Like Carter Kieboom's played 20 games. I'm not going to write him off yet. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but
he's a very talented prospect, and that could easily be a wild card in this in their quest for a wild card, because I think the Braves are going to take the division again. Although injuries could change that.
What about their pitching? You think they have enough pitching to win the division?
Their pitching is okay. Their pitching is, I don't know if it's enough to win the division, but I think it's better than
everyone else.
Not
the Mets, and not the Mets either. Yeah,
but I think better than their direct competition.
Okay.
And the other thing is with what we were talking about with the Braves. Oh, the wild card emergence of rookies, and I think that also has a big deal because both of these teams here have potential guys who could be called up and be absolute game changers for them. The Phillies with Alec Boehm and Spencer Howard, and the Nationals with Carter Kieboom.
Yeah.
Either any one of them could be called up and just change the. We saw in 2015 when Chris Bryant came up and essentially just behind guys like Rizzo and everyone else who was still there, just carried the Cubs into the postseason. And then Schwarber again later that year. You could get that easily happen with both of these teams, and that could be the difference maker for which one makes a wild card team.
Right. Absolutely.
Any other comments on my there before you?
So. Actually, no. I'll let you finish.
No. He's asking you if you have anything.
Okay. You want to talk? I'm surprised no one's picked apart my Central.
I believe you're wrong.
For what?
I believe you're wrong.
Everything?
I'll talk about your Central after him.
Things,
I'm just always wrong. Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, it's coming from me. It's coming from me. Your daily sports truth.
Of course, yes. My daily sports truth in quotation marks.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead. Why am I wrong?
Number one.
Yep.
The Phillies are not better than the Nationals.
The Phillies are not better than the Nationals. Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Bullpen-wise, Nationals have a stronger bullpen.
Really?
Rotation, Nationals have a stronger rotation.
Okay.
Lineup, that's a coin flip.
That's not a coin flip.
You still need pitching, okay?
Yes, you do.
And the Phillies don't have the pitching that the Nationals have.
We don't.
That's the first thing.
So you don't think Nola Wheeler can match Scherzer Strasburg 1-1?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
I also number three. Who you got? Jake Arrieta going up against Patrick Corbin.
Hey, you never know. Jake Arrieta, former
Number 4, you got Zach Eflin going up against Anibal Sanchez.
He had 3 scoreless innings today. Thank you very much.
You're comparing Anibal Sanchez to Zach Eflin to Sanchez right now.
To Anibal Sanchez? Anibal Sanchez is not that great. He had a good year last year.
He compared to Eflin.
Okay, fine.
Can I play middleman here real quick
absolutely,
again?
sure.
Okay, like I think that the Nationals do have the upper hand. I think the Nationals are going to make the playoffs. Spoiler alert. But I think that they have the better rotation. I do think Philly has the better bullpen. Washington, like, despite them going on that run
Minus
last
Harris, who else do they have? Because Doolittle was trash last year.
Hudson.
Daniel Hudson?
No.
Oh, they do have
I'm saying
Hudson.
Philly has a better bullpen.
Thank you.
But like overall, like. Going into the year, on paper, I'd say Philly is a better bullpen, but Washington could get that bullpen performance that they need from Hudson, Doolittle, and Harris.
Like they did last year, Hudson stepped up. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Hudson stepped up, Doolittle stepped up when it mattered, and in the postseason, you can use starting pitching in the bullpen, and that's what they did. But in the regular season, they had the worst bullpen ERA, but they played tremendous baseball from May 24th on, as we know.
The best team in baseball since May 24th.
Right, so I think what it's gonna come down to is the production. The production they're going to get in place of Rendon, and I think ultimately they will get enough, whether it's through Carter Keyboom or through trading or through a trade at the deadline. I think ultimately it's going to be enough.
Starlin Castro.
Yeah.
You can't.
So
live
a couple
up to
little pieces to
you
add
can't
up
live
to
up
an
to Anthony
Rendon.
Rendon's production. Now, could you repeat your NL Central?
NL
list?
Central, sure. My order for that is the Reds taking the division, the Cardinals with the first wild card, followed by the Cubs, Brewers, and Pirates.
All right, so I got a different list than you, but
Sure.
That's not a bad list that you have. I will
Thank
say.
you. Thank
All
you.
right,
Is that my best division?
I mean, the NL Central and NL West are pretty easy to get.
I will
NL
touch on
Central's
the
not easy.
NL Central is up for grabs.
The
I will
NL
touch on the Cardinals after, but I do want to say I think both Tommy Edman and Dylan Carlson are going to have big impacts on whether their season goes into the postseason or sitting at home in October.
Oh,
would
absolutely.
agree.
Especially with the subtraction of Marcelo Zuna. They got to get that production from somewhere else. And we have a call here, so we will take that right away. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who are we talking to?
Boys, how we doing? It's Scott.
What's up,
Hey,
Scott?
Scott. How are you?
Loving the show once again, as always.
Thank you very much.
Performance by the boys loose. Question for you. I hear you guys talk kicking around the Reds a little bit. Coming from a baseball player, I played my whole life. Are you guys familiar with driveline baseball at all?
Yes, that's what Trevor Bauer uses, correct?
Sure, yeah, Trevor Bauer uses it. I know the Reds were the first MLB team to kind of poach a couple guys from driveline, which was their ultimate goal anyway. What are your projections for Trevor Bauer, I guess, because he's a driveline guy, but do you think big improvements for the Reds pitching staff, or based on what you know about driveline, do you think that's something that will kind of take over the baseball landscape with pitching? I mean, I'm a Yankees guy. I'm getting my heart ripped out by watching these pitchers just absolutely crumble from the elbow down, but just some thoughts on that.
You want to touch on that, James, about driveline?
What, just driveline in general?
Yeah.
Well, I think what Bauer is doing is he's trying to start a movement like just throughout baseball that he's trying to help guys with modern analytics and with spin rates and with all that, doing it in a natural way compared to how he's thrown Houston under the bus for not doing it in a natural way. And I think that it can take over in the next 10 or 15 years depending on how Bauer performs, yes. Now, touching on Bauer and the Reds, I think they will have a successful year. Luis Castillo is going to anchor that rotation and have another all-star campaign. Sonny Gray, he signed a great extension there. Bauer has to bounce back if he wants to cash in this offseason. So I think he's going to bounce back, return to pre-injury form in 2018, have maybe not an all-star campaign, but a very good campaign, and the Reds will be in the hunt for the playoffs all year.
So you think Bauer's going to eat a chunk of innings, hopefully stay healthy, and
Yes.
lead the Reds into
I think
territory into the playoffs?
Bauer's a bigger key for the Reds than a lot of people think. He needs to bounce back because he was awful all of last year, especially with Cincinnati in the second half. But if he bounces back, he's one of the
definitely.
top 15 pitchers in the game.
His ERA was 6.39 with the Reds.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I mean, from the outside looking in, at least from the baseball community, people eat Trevor Bauer up. They
We love him. Yeah.
Love him. You
Oh,
know?
yeah,
Just
he's a
like
literal
great-
meme lord on Twitter. Everyone loves him, yeah.
Yeah,
And he just says it how it
exactly.
is.
Which
is
is
even
a
better.
journalist's like notebook and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh,
he's
my
fantastic.
goodness, yeah, he's a
And honestly,
treasure
I think that's good
trove.
for the sport to have more guys like Trevor Bauer like that. I mean, it's very engaging, especially on
totally.
Twitter.
Totally, yeah. So that was pretty interesting. And then maybe follow up unrelated stuff. How do you guys foresee? I think the total came up to 6 Astro players hit so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
And across
Yeah.
baseball, it kind of seems National League, American League, people are going for the heads of the Astros, even in game. Do you think what you've seen so far in spring training lends itself to a lot of Astros getting free bases this year so far?
Absolutely.
I actually
yeah.
don't think that they've been getting hit intentionally, though.
I do think one was intentional. The one where Urena straight up beamed. I think it was. Oh my god.
It was some random.
Alex
It was
Bregman
number
got
94.
Guzman. It was Guzman. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He straight up beamed him.
Now, the thing is, I mean, the one with Altuve, it was a curveball, so that doesn't count. The one with Alex Bregman, it looks like the catcher was setting a
it was-
pine
yeah.
inside. So, to me, that doesn't count. Like, no, there's no way.
But there's just going to be a lot of, I think, quote, unintentional beatings this year. Like
Yeah,
a lot
like
of curveballs
like-
that slip or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the curveball didn't break. You know, you're gonna see a lot of that. I think.
Because what are you going to do? You're not going to
A lot
eject the
of
pitcher for that.
85,
Yeah.
Yes.
soft 85 to the shoulder.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Some
Absolutely.
off-speed stuff, yeah. All right, yeah, thanks so much, guys. Always nice listening.
Appreciate it, Scott.
Hey,
Have a
thanks
good
for
one.
calling, man.
Thanks, Scott. Have a good night.
Hey, enjoy it.
Yeah, in case anyone wanted to go ahead and keep track of that, by the way, I got to shout out an Instagram account I found the other day, @Bean the Astros. They are keeping track of every single time an Astro player is hit this year. They've already started in spring training. They already have, looks like 4 or 5 videos on there already. Please, go ahead and follow that if you want a daily dosage of the Astros being hit. Absolutely hilarious to see that on my feed the other day. But you know what? That's great that he called in and talked about the Reds, because we were just going to talk about the Central and how Robbie thinks I'm wrong.
Well,
is that where you
let's
think
hear
I'm
your
wrong with the
predictions,
Reds?
Robbie.
Yeah,
Here we
wanna
go.
give your
I'll give
predictions?
us my predictions.
Let's hear that, yeah.
So, and remember, guys, I'm always right, so I'm going to be right
Of
about
course,
this one.
right, because Luke
So-
Voigt won the MVP this year, right? He did.
All right,
Yeah, of course.
so in the NL East, I have the Braves, the Nationals, the Phillies, the Mets, and the Marlins. The
Poor
Marlins might be able to get first place. You never know. Now,
Corey Dickerson
that's
for
where we're
MVP.
wrong. I believe that the Nationals are going to finish in second. You believe they're going to finish in third.
Okay.
Now, NL Central. I actually have the Reds, Cardinals, the Brewers, the Cubs, and the Pirates. I think the Cubs are going
Wow.
to choke this season.
Wow.
I think that this is going to be one of the biggest disappointing seasons for the Chicago Cubs in franchise history.
That's a very talented team still.
It is, but the Brewers team is very talented, in my opinion.
Okay.
The Cardinals are incredibly talented. The Reds are clearly talented. I believe that Trevor Bauer is going to have a bounce-back season. He's a free agent at the end of the season, and he's looking to make some money. Sign that one-year deal, maybe looking for, $22 million a year.
That's right. He's only
Not
going to sign
bad.
1-year deals. That's right.
And then for the NL West, I have the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres, Rockies, and the Giants. Now, were you getting into your playoff predictions, or?
We can do that in a second here.
Yeah, just
interesting
who
how
are your
I'm-
wild cards?
So my two
Oh, yeah, your
wild
wild
card
cards,
teams, I have the Nationals and the Phillies.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which one's
okay.
one?
Two
and
from the
which
same
Nationals
division.
one, Phillies two?
It's going to be here in D.C., and I'm going to that game when it happens.
Hey, I'll join
when
you, brother.
it happens.
That will be beautiful to see. Oh my goodness.
Now, the reason why I believe that the Nationals are going to be over the Phillies is because I disagree with both of you. I think that the Nationals have the better bullpen than the Phillies. I believe that Will Harris is better than anybody in that Philly bullpen. I believe that Daniel Hudson is better than anybody in that Philly bullpen. And I see the way I see your face right now, Andrew. You may disagree, but you know what? You are wrong, because that Philly bias is kicking in again.
It's
so.
Oh yes. Okay.
I'm also going.
Because you are completely unbiased.
I would
right?
rather take Sean Doolittle over Hector Neris, Sir Anthony Dominguez, David
Really?
Can't Stay Healthy Robertson, and I know I'm a Yankee fan saying that somebody else can't stay healthy. And there are plenty of other guys in that national bullpen. I'm taking them over the Phillies. And
Oh,
I
you're
think that's
taking
gonna go
Wander
well.
Suero
Also,
over anyone on
well,
the
here's
Phillies?
also, here's another thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
you're
go
good.
ahead,
You're
go
good.
ahead, go ahead.
Now, did the Nationals have a good bullpen last year?
No.
Exactly. And how did it end up? And how did they do in the season?
Well,
They had Anthony Rendon.
So
though.
you're saying that the Phillies, just by adding Joe Girard and D. Gregorius,
No,
are going to be
it's
better?
not just that. We have Kutch back full health. We have
You-
Gregorius added to that very lethal
You know,
lineup.
you were
and we have Alec Baum, who's tearing it up in the spring, who could be called up by May and be our starting third baseman superstar.
And you don't know what's going to go on with the Nationals, because they've looked pretty good in spring training as well. So if we're going to talk about spring training, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Here's the thing I want to say about the bullpens is that it's bad and bad. It's not like you're dealing with two of the top bullpens
Yeah,
in the
they're
league.
both
The
bad.
Nationals had the worst.
Everyone's bullpen is terrible
Right.
in the NL East,
Right.
honestly.
The Nationals had the worst bullpen ERA in baseball last year, but they were able to, like, from May 24th on, they were able to use starting pitching, use offense to win ball games, and in the postseason they could use their starting pitchers out of the bullpen. Yes, they did improve this offseason with the Will Harris addition. Doolittle should be healthy again, and he should bounce back and return to form. And Hudson had a very good second half, and they expect him to have a full season, stay healthy, have a 30-plus save season again. And I think by the end of the season, the Nationals bullpen will be better than the Phillies. But right now, it's bad with bad, and I would slightly take the Phillies just because. What if Hudson comes out there and blows a couple saves early on? What if Doolittle's not healthy again? Like, you just don't know at this point.
Also, Robbie, I just want to point out real quick that last year, Sean Doolittle had a 4.05 ERA with a 9.
And how did he do the year before that? He was pitching injured most of the season.
With a 9.9 K per 9, while Neris had an 11.8, nearly 12 K per 9. By the way, to follow up his 14.8 K per 9 the final year with an ERA under 3 at 2.9.
Hey, wait, can you read his ERA for 2018?
That is not relevant to this.
Oh, yeah, you're ignoring that now, huh?
It was 5.10. But that was also very inflated from the first month where he was awful, sent down, and then came back and was literally the best reliever in baseball after he was called back up. Won reliever of the month in August and I believe September after.
And how was Sean Doolittle in 2018?
We're not talking about that, though.
We're ignoring that because it's how
I know he made the All-Star team. I don't know his final stats. I know Doolittle made the All-Star team.
Good. He was pretty good in
1.60 ERA.
Yeah, he was good.
Will Harris has been the most consistent Astros reliever the last 6
Wait, we're talking
seasons.
about Will Harris now?
No, I'm just talking about the Nationals bullpen in general.
Oh, no, okay, that's fair.
I'm saying Sean Doolittle last year had a 1.60 ERA.
Actually, he's not the most consistent. It's actually Joe Smith, because Joe Smith every single year has had an ERA above 3 but below 4.
But he hasn't always been with the Astros. Remember, he was with the Angels, he was with the Blue Jays, was with the Indians, etc., etc.
I'm just saying, the most consistent reliever in baseball is technically him.
And Daniel Hudson, yes, he hasn't been very good all of the time. I will admit.
Yeah, I think last year was a very fluke year for a guy like
that's
Daniel
possible.
Hudson.
That's possible. But the Nationals are.
Well, I also think he finally found his role in the bullpen. Like he was good in Toronto. He always had. He was heralded when he was with Arizona. He always had.
He was a
stuff.
starter. He won Rookie of the Year, didn't he?
No, I don't think
he was out there though.
But I'm saying he always had the velocity and he had the stuff. But sometimes when guys go to the bullpen, they can just focus in and lock in for 1 or 2 innings. Yeah. It makes them much better. And I think that's what you're seeing with Hudson, a guy in his early 30s who's finally found his niche and can give you another couple solid seasons before he finally starts to fizzle out.
No, and my thing is the Nationals bullpen's a safer bet to me. You see the numbers I listed earlier.
Even with all of the healthy people coming back to the Philly bullpen?
Yes. Not one of those guys. One of those guys has any business being in the same sentence as these national pitchers.
Okay.
I'm taking Will Harris over any of those guys.
I want to ask you though, how much do you actually know, and how much have you watched guys like Sir Anthony Dominguez, Adam Morgan, Victor Arano? Because these have been some of the most valuable relievers in the National League.
Anytime you have a 5.10 ERA,
that's one man, and he was fantastic last year. I'm asking how much you know about a guy like Adam Morgan, a guy who lefties hit almost 110 against
and had a 4 ERA.
I didn't say last year. I said the year before. Last year he had a bad outing and then got hurt and didn't play the rest of the year, like the entirety of our bullpen. How much you know about a guy like Arano, who during his rookie year had an ERA under 3? How much you know about a guy like Sir Anthony Dominguez, who came up and was essentially our closer to replace the god-awful Jim Gomez? He was until he got hurt and needed the injection in May. Yeah.
And what was his ERA last year? 4.01.
Because he pitched for a month and was hurt during most of it and then needed an injection.
You know what? All I see is the 4.01 ERA.
I'm just saying, I respect your opinion, but my point is, I don't think you know enough about the actual relievers in the Phillies bullpen to be saying that. I don't think you've watched them enough. I don't think you realize how good they actually are when they're healthy.
I don't think you've watched how good Will Harris can be when he's
spot on. I've watched the playoffs the past 3, 4, 5 years.
That's the playoffs. I've been watching the Phillies didn't make the playoffs, so I guess I really can't say that.
Thank you. Thanks for the reminder.
All right, so
let's talk about the Central real quick, because you have the Cubs in 4th place.
Yes.
And while I'm not disagreeing with you, I think that's incredibly low for a very talented
team. Can we talk
team.
about who the Brewers lost?
Yes, and that's the other thing.
Yasmani
the Brewers
Grandal,
being above them.
Eric Thames,
Pomeranz,
Drew Pomeranz,
Moustakas.
Mike that's who I was forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Moustakas. They lost
Trent Grishman.
They got Luis Urias back in that deal, right?
Yeah,
they added Holt. They lost Aguilar. I know they lost Aguilar last year, but they lost Aguilar.
They added another bat. Who was the bat that they? Oh, they added Justin Smoke, didn't they? No. He's on.
They added
Smoke. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I mean, they lost a lot of talent there. You still think they'll finish ahead of the Cubs, who're going to have another healthy year out of Bryant, another healthy year out of Rizzo, another top 5 MVP finish from Baez?
As crazy as it sounds, I'm going to say yes. I believe that this year Christian Yelich will have one of the best single seasons that we've ever seen. I believe he will carry this Brewers team. I believe that Brock Holt's going to have a terrific year. I believe Justin Smoke is going to have a terrific year. I believe that the Brewers are going to surprise people. They're going to be the underdog.
What do you think about Keston Herrera?
Keston Herrera?
Yeah, what do you think about him?
Oh, I think he's a stud.
Yeah, he's
a stud, dude.
He's gonna be their second baseman, right?
Oh, dude, I think he's gonna make the All-Star team.
Yeah,
I really do. I know I haven't gotten to my stuff yet, but I think he's gonna be one of the biggest breakout guys of this year.
One other quick point I want to mention.
Sure.
Before we get to James, now, you know who was not very good for the Brewers last year, but 2 years ago was an All-Star, then 4 years ago was an MVP
can I guess?
contender. Yes.
Wait.
He finished
Lorenzo
Low
Cain.
Cain?
Lorenzo
finished
Cain.
third in MVP. Lorenzo Cain.
And he's back
And
and
he's
healthy.
going to have a bounce-back season. He's going to be healthy this year. He's going to be much better. And Ryan Braun's going to perform very well. That's going to be a terrific outfield.
This is
One
the
of the
last
best
year of
in
his
baseball.
contract, by the way. He could be retiring after this.
Probably.
Actually, someone would probably pick him up as a DH or something. But I'm just saying, this is interesting that this is going to be the last year of Ryan Braun's contract.
The only thing that concerns me about the Brewers is the pitching. I think that the pitching is a major problem, and I think that that's going to hurt them a lot. But other than that, I believe that they're going to surprise people. But it's not that the Brewers are going to be really good this year. I just think that the Cubs are really going to disappoint people.
Does it
I think
have to
that's
do
the
with
big thing.
David Ross for you?
I don't think he helps.
Okay.
Now, I don't think he's the sole reason, but he doesn't help.
Yeah.
Because to me, when I see this Cubs team, I see a lot of potential for error. Chris Bryant's going to be hitting leadoff. I don't like that. I don't like their bullpen right now. Who's their closer right now?
Kimbrel.
Kimbrel.
Or,
Yeah.
you want Craig Kimbrel as a closer right now?
It doesn't matter if they want him or not. They signed him to a 4-year deal.
Okay, my
He
point
is their closer.
Well, he's not a good closer anymore. That's number one. Number two.
I wouldn't go that far. Like
he was pretty bad.
He's not like I know, but he's not like the elite Kimbrel that we saw. But I wouldn't just like write him off and say he's like a bottom 10.
Which is
closer
also a
in the
shame
league.
because he
No,
was
he's
well
not
on his
bottom
way to
10.
be one of the best closers of all time.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
mean-
what happened.
Ma-
Do you think
well-
it's just missing half the
Well,
season?
no, I'm saying that could be it. Like
Yeah.
I know he has diminished velocity, which is still like 96, 97, which is nothing to sleep on.
still
But
pretty
like I think part of it could be missing half the season. Like give him a
That's
full season
possible.
and really see how it is.
You know what? We will see
Probably
that.
going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
if
no,
he
he's
keeps
all
his thing
there.
right,
Yeah.
But I don't see much else out of this bullpen. I think that the starting rotation has a lot of room for error. I don't know how John Lester, is he going to be that good? Is Yu Darvish going to have another great season? Is Jose Quintana going to have a good season? He's so inconsistent.
Is Jason Hayward going to hit 300? The possibilities are endless.
You know what? I do trust Kyle Hendricks in that rotation, but other than that, a lot of question marks. I mean, Mike Montgomery, is he a starter reliever?
Quintana's still there, right?
Yeah. He's a free agent
Yeah,
at the end of
yeah.
the year. So a lot of room for
Hey,
error.
he could have a very good year and get some good money next year. He's only going to be, what, 31 maybe?
He was
30?
born in 1989, so he's going to be 31.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of room for error with the Cubs. That's why I have them finishing 4th in my NL Central. I believe Chris Bryant's going to be great this year. I believe Anthony Rizzo's going to be good again. I believe Kyle Schwarber will be good, but I don't believe Yu Darvish will be good. I don't believe John Lester will be good. I don't believe Jose Quintana will be good. I don't believe Craig Kimbrel's going to be good. I don't believe that bullpen's going to be good at all. I don't believe they will have any good pitching whatsoever. And this may not sound right, but I don't believe Javier Baez is going to have a good season. I think he's going to have a disappointing season full of injuries.
I mean, he is on the cover of MLB The Show. The curse could be real. You never know. You never know. I think it's a little harsh on the Cubs, but I also think it's a possible reality.
It's the Cubs. They deserve it.
Yeah. Why do you hate the Cubs so much? All right, looks like we have another call here. So on that note, let's go ahead and take that. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who are we talking to?
Hi, this is Dr. Rob. How are you guys doing?
Hey,
Good,
how are you?
Dr. Rob?
Good. Hey, my issue this week relates to the coronavirus,
Uh-oh.
which is kind of in the news. So my question, I would think that the Major League Baseball, since they have piles of statisticians and financial analysts, that they've done some sort of financial model to determine if the virus spreads so much to certain cities, they know how that affects baseball revenue.
That's like the thing that I think a big thing is that what if it somehow infects a team? Like the Red Sox are actually quarantining a minor league prospect right now because he came over from Thailand, and they don't want that to spread.
Are they actually?
They're gonna let him out this weekend.
I did
but
not
yes,
see
they're
that.
they're quarantining him in his hotel room in Florida.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that at all.
Wow.
He's
What about
a
if they
low level
tell
guy. He's
people-
not going to do anything for them. But
Okay, that's a good point.
Well,
But
what about if they say, well, you can't have major league events? Can the teams still play the game?
Yeah.
Even though there's
Yeah.
nobody in the stadium, everybody watching on TV.
Do
what
we
does that
think
do
it would get
TV
to
revenue?
that point though? Because that'd have to be pretty severe.
I don't think I feel like in America they would keep it. They would
Yeah.
like contain it enough
Yeah.
to where that wouldn't be the case.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think the teams, Major League Baseball, I bet they've done some sort of projection of how that affects cash flows, right? Money
I'm sure
coming
they
into
have,
the
yeah.
team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I bet the Players Association has done that also, because I presume there's some sort of revenue sharing agreement with the players.
Yeah,
So
definitely with
that's
the
kind of
players union
my
too.
thing this week.
Yeah.
Very cool.
If you are want to work for a baseball team, but obviously if you can't play baseball, there's all sorts of positions they have open for, say, emergency planners, statisticians, things like that, kind of
Right.
these back office jobs that nobody hears about.
Yeah.
So something to keep an eye towards.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway, so for tonight's tip, in case anybody from class calls in, what we're going to do tomorrow is go over the exam. I gave out 2 exams, 2 sections last week. We almost had really a bell-shaped curve of the results. In each class, we had at least one person get 100. And in each class, we had at least one person get below 45.
Ooh.
That's quite the disparity.
James, was that you?
No, that was not me.
Okay, good.
Now, and then, but the 8:10 class won't start till 8:30 because I have a conflict, scheduling conflict. So
Okay.
tomorrow, and I'll put out an email on this. Tomorrow's class, 8:10 class, won't start till 8:30, but you can start picking up your exams if you like from my office, Maloney 129, starting at 7:15 a.m. So the early birds get there early. I'll give you an exam, and we can go over it individually, starting at 7:15 tomorrow morning. But I won't be in class till 8:30.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Professor Warren. I appreciate the call, and that was something interesting about the coronavirus.
Yes, absolutely.
That was actually.
Yeah, so one of you guys needs to call over to Major League Baseball and see what's going on.
Yeah, maybe.
I will give him a call right after the show, yeah.
Have them on. I expect by the time I end my time here at Catholic that you've got the manager for the Nationals on. Now, that would be a coup.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
Dave Martinez
Yeah,
will
maybe
come
give
on.
Davey a
Yeah,
call.
we'll give
Why
Davey
not?
a call. Why not? See what he does.
He's for the
Send a
people.
letter and have him get on. I bet he'll do it if you get on the schedule.
I bet you
All
know
right.
what? We'll have to give it a look. Maybe
Yeah.
he gets back from Florida. Maybe he'll come in. You
Yeah,
never know.
absolutely.
There you go. All right. Hey, guys, I really appreciate it. It's my favorite part of the week.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Professor
much.
Warren. Have a good one.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I never know. Maybe Davey would come on if we gave him a holler there. Something cool that we could always look forward to.
Did you
here
finish
on
your NL
Nation's
predictions
Pastime.
and all that?
In the nation's
I'm
capital,
good.
yeah, you
I
want-
actually want to
you
hear
good with
your
NL?
predictions. Yes. Well, I mean, I think the NL West had the same list as
We have the
you.
exact same list. I think it's a
so.
pretty much set list. I mean,
yeah, let me.
no one other than the
I had
Dodgers
the
is
Dodgers,
winning it.
Diamondbacks, Padres, Rockies,
Yeah,
Giants.
exact same list. So, all right, James, why don't you go ahead and give us a couple of your.
Well, I don't have like a
Points.
set list
Yeah,
yet,
I
but
know,
I
you
have
just wanna
all,
give
like
points.
all my team. Like I think all the teams that will contend this year in the NL: Nationals, Braves, Mets, Phillies, Reds, Cardinals, Cubs, Dodgers, Diamondbacks.
That's fair.
And I think and let me break it. I think the Dodgers are going to win the West.
Wait, no Brewers?
no Brewers. Sorry.
Wow.
They're going to surprise.
I think they lost too much. I
Okay.
think Yelich is going to have a phenomenal season.
I mean, I'm with you. I have him in fourth place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just
I
saying
don't-
it's really surprising, especially
what?
Christian Yelich.
If they were to struggle, I could maybe not this season, but next season if they stunk it up for the next 2 seasons, maybe he requests a trade.
He's almost gonna be a free agent though, isn't he? 2022 or 3. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, we'll trade him
Ooh,
for
man,
Stanton.
Talk about money. Oh yeah, you're funny, aren't you? All right, go ahead. Rest of your.
Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to win the division in the
yeah,
West.
I think that's a given.
Yeah.
That lineup.
The
is
Central,
stupid.
I think the Central is really up for grabs because I think you have a team in the Cubs that I think a lot of people are overlooking because there's a lot of talent on that roster with Bryant. I think Bryant is really like almost a perfect leadoff hitter, not in the sense
Really. So you like
Okay.
it, unlike Robbie. Who
I
absolutely hates
do
it.
like the move because it's going to allow him to A, get more at bats, B, turn the order over and get things going for Rizzo and Baez with guys on base, and C, Bryant throughout his career has actually struggled a lot with hitting with runners in scoring position, and I think this will allow him to just relax, hit the ball. His RBI totals will probably be down, but I think you're going to see an uptick in average because especially last year he really struggled hitting with runners in scoring position. I don't know what it was. I don't think it was something where he wasn't clutch. He just a lot of times he didn't come through. So I think that this is the perfect way to try to get him going a little bit more and get things going offensively.
That's fair.
And I think rotation-wise, I trust Hendricks. I like what I saw from Darvish in the second half of last year. I think he'll continue somewhat on that trend. I don't trust Lester at all.
No.
And then if they're in contention, they'll go trade for an arm. Trade Nico Horner, trade whoever else they might feel valuable, Schwarber, whoever else. The Reds, that's interesting because you're going to need a bounce-back year from Votto. You're going to need Senzel to step up. You're going to need Bauer to bounce back, and you need Castillo and Gray to continue to do what they did last year along with Moustakas and Castellanos to have the same impact that they had last year. And you need Aquino to really solidify the 4 or 5 spot in the order because he can't be a one-dimensional guy.
He's way too inconsistent. He comes up, he's hitting 10 home runs in the first, 12 games. Then the second half of his tenure, he hit, I think it was 190.
Yeah, no, he was bad the second half.
Yeah,
yeah.
I do think I think overall he'll be fine, but he can't be one-dimensional. And then third, we have the Cardinals. I think that, yes, they're going to contend. Will they make the playoffs? Right now, I don't know. That's why I'm waiting a couple weeks to give my predictions, because I really want to see how these teams play in spring training. This is something that I do take very seriously, getting my predictions and trying to get them as accurate.
Well, if you're basing on that, then the
as I can get
Marlins are
them.
winning the division, right? Because they're 5-0.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying. Like once the
Yeah.
regulars get in there and all that, I really want to get a sense of if Dylan Carlson is going to start the year in St. Louis or if he's going to start in AAA, because I think Dylan Carlson could win NL Rookie of the Year if he starts the year.
That's a good pick.
If he starts the year in St. Louis, because he's an impact guy. He's really the first heralded offensive Cardinal prospect since Oscar Taveras. He can do it all with the bat. He's a good defender. He's got power. He's the middle of the order bat that the Cardinals need to replace Ozuna. And I think another guy that you look at with when you're talking about the Cardinals, obviously you look at Flaherty, but offensively is Tommy Edman. And Tommy Edman is going to be a good guy whether he hits first or second or seventh or eighth right before the pitcher to get on, turn the order over, or start the order up top, steal bases, get in scoring position to get guys to drive in runs. And that's what he did last year. He's a good defender. He can play multiple positions. And I think another guy who not a lot of people are talking about who really needs to finally show that potential offensively, which we might be past that point, is Colton Wong. Because we've seen what he can do defensively. He won his first Gold Glove last year. Has been a finalist multiple times. But every year I feel like we've been waiting for Colton Wong to break out offensively and be the guy who he projected to be, and we've never seen that. Never made an All-Star team. Never hit above 300. Never had over. I don't believe he's had over 25 homer season.
No.
So that is Colton Wong finally going to be that guy? And the Cardinals need a guy besides Goldschmidt if they're going to make a serious run at it. Now, I think you look at the NL East, and you have I think, besides the Marlins, I think all four of these teams are going to contend, and I think it's going to be very, very close. With the Nationals, the Braves, the Mets, and the Phillies. We've already talked a lot about the Phillies and the Nationals, so let's talk about the Braves. We know what we're getting with the Nationals. Great starting pitching, need to replace Rendon, but besides that, a very good order, and guys need to step up in the bullpen. The Phillies, the bullpen needs to step up. Harper, I'm going to touch on Harper. I think he's going to have a very good year, bounce back year. I forgot to mention that last week, but I think
back.
Hey,
he still had a very good year last year.
Yes, I misspoke. He had a very good year.
But you think bounce back to superstardom? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, bounce back to an elite level of production.
Top 5 NL MVP, yes or no this year? I say yes.
How about top 7?
Okay, I'll give it that.
I'll give him top 7.
I think just being settled in and having a full year.
And I think not the media not being fully attentive on him
did you
as
see his
the
quote
guy.
The other day?
Yes, I saw it.
He already said,
he's just
this
happy
year in
being
spring
Bryce
training,
again.
Yeah, I'm happy to just be chill with you guys. I'm not cameras shoving down my throat everywhere I walk in Florida. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, that's fine. I think Harper is really going to have a phenomenal season. But that we saw him have a phenomenal season in Washington in 2015, and they finished in second place and didn't make the playoffs. That doesn't mean Philly's going to make the playoffs. They need to settle the Real Muto contract dispute before the season ends. I think that's something. That's a bigger point that people aren't talking about, because if he hits free agency, I don't think he'll re-sign in Philly if they don't get an extension done. I think, and then they need to have guys in the rotation besides Nola step up. But now we'll talk about the Mets and the Braves, because we really haven't spent a lot of time on them.
Yeah.
The Braves, we know what they're going to do offensively. Freeman, one of the best offensive players in the game. Acuna, we know what he can do. He's a top 10 player in the game. He's so dynamic. Albies, very, very good. And who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting their
Marcell Ozuna.
Marcell Ozuna. So we know what they're going to get top 4, but I think their biggest question mark is third base. Obviously, losing Donaldson. Camargo had a 619 OPS last year, I believe. So unless Austin Riley comes back and can replicate what he did in his first month up, where he hit 9 homers, because in the second half of his season before he tore his LCL, he was really not good. He struck out a lot. Was not making contact. Just he was not being productive. So he needs to try to replicate what he did in the first half of his stint. And then you look at Markakis and Enciarte. What are you going to get out of them in the outfield offensively?
I believe Markakis is going to be good, but Enciarte, I don't know, man. He's
also very injury prone the past couple of years as well, which is something you have to look at.
And then the catcher position is going to be what? Flowers and
D'Arnaud.
Oh, of course, D'Arnaud.
Yeah. Who I think got a little too much money, by the way.
Yeah, I like what Atlanta did this offseason, but besides...
They really did improve the bullpen, though.
They improved the bullpen, yes.
Kurt Suzuki went back to the Nationals, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they Will Smith, Chris Martin, Shane Green, all back with Atlanta. Did Melanson resign? He resigned, okay.
No, he didn't resign, but Melanson didn't resign.
He didn't resign, but
he's just still there.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest question is their rotation after Soroka.
Yes.
I think that's the big...
Because it's just 4 question marks right now, isn't it?
Right, because you lost Keuchel. Fulte.
Would you say their pitching's worse? Starting pitching is worse than the Phillies?
No, because of Fulte.
Because of Folty? You think you'd rather have
Folty's a wild card
Folty?
to
You'd
me,
rather
though.
have him over Zach Wheeler? We're forgetting how good Zach Wheeler was in the second half last year. I'm not trying to be like, oh, what about this?
No,
guy?
I'll take the Phillies. I'll take the Phillies.
I was gonna say because
I'll take
Fulton
the
Awish
Phillies.
was very iffy, you know.
But
Yes.
he's too inconsistent. Last year he was
Yeah.
bad, but 2 years ago, if
He
I
was
recall,
fantastic. He almost won the Cy
He was
Young,
an,
didn't he?
yeah, he was an all-star.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal.
And they lost Tehran as well. I mean,
Yeah,
he
to
lost
the Angels.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the biggest thing for Atlanta is their starting pitching, and that's what I'm not sold on yet, and I just want to see more from guys. Like, I know we're not seeing a lot in spring training, but I just want to see how guys throw. I watch a lot of spring training baseball, so I, like...
Oh, the Braves also added Cole Hamels. We forgot about him.
Who is hurt? to
He's
start
hurt.
the
Yeah,
season.
he's hurt.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I don't know if he's going to be ready for opening day. That's why I'm not.
Probably
Yeah.
not. Hey, the longer we can delay me seeing him in a Braves uniform, the better. That's all I'm
But
saying.
and then going to the Mets, we offensively they have Alonso, home run leader last year. He's going to hit over 40 again. I don't know if he'll get 50, but he'll get over 40 again. McNeil could have won the if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have won the batting title. I think Robinson.
Cespedes is healthy.
So Cespedes, he said he was feeling like a 12 out of 10.
As long as he doesn't chase any more wild boars on his farm.
But seriously, Cespedes does need to have a bounce back year if they're going to do anything.
No, yeah, he does. Yeah.
Ahmed Rosario needs to finally live up to the hype of being the number one prospect in baseball in the middle of 2017. And then I think you look at a guy like Conforto, who I think has been very underrated over these past few years. I think Conforto is one of the better players in baseball. He's fun to watch. He's got such a pure swing. He's got a lot of pop. He gets on base. I think he's the perfect guy to go with Alonso.
What do you
And
think about Nimmo as a contrast to him?
good.
Yeah,
Good.
as well.
I think Nemo's kind of the perfect contrast to him because if you get both of them in the lineup and they're both going,
Yeah.
it's perfect. And then I think you can expect some sort of a bounce back from Cano at least to an average level of play.
Okay. That's very
So
fair. He
that-
also missed a lot of time with injury last year. As well,
Right,
so,
no,
yeah.
absolutely. So and then Wilson Ramos, he could also bounce back and have a good year. It's, getting
Can't
comfortable
run,
in New
but he
York.
can still hit.
Yeah,
He
no,
can.
absolutely, and that's all they need. Yeah, I mean, I think he had a 20-game hitting streak last year. It's not like he was
did.
awful.
No, he was very
So
good.
I think and then going to the rotation, you know what you're getting into DeGrom, but you need to bounce back from Syndergaard, and it really depends on what happens at the back end of the rotation with that last spot.
Yeah. Because right now it's a battle between Waka and Porcello, or is it someone else? Mats?
Yes,
yeah,
Mats,
it's-
Walker, Porcello for 2 spots.
Porcello's
Yes.
going to be in the rotation.
Yeah, he will be.
Wait, the top. Wait. Am I forgetting someone? The top 4 is
It's
you have
DeGrom, Syndergaard, Stroman, Porcello, and then it'll either be
Porcello.
Mats or
So it's Mats versus
Waka.
for the
They
last
haven't
spot.
technically decided on the 4th
I
spot,
think
but it'll be
Porcello will
Porcello.
make the 4th
Yeah.
spot. Yeah. I think
No,
that's-
but like I think Stroman was all right in the second half, but I mean if he can do what he did in Toronto in the first half of last year, that rotation is going to be one of the best in baseball.
Oh, easily. It really,
And
will
that's
be.
why I think they really are going to contend and make some noise this year.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be strange to see the NL East have a bunch of 87, 88, 89 game winners because they're
Yeah.
all just going to be beating up on each other all year long. The only point of rest for them is going to be the Marlins when they play them, and some of the teams in the NL East.
And I don't
can't
think the
even
Marlins
beat
are going to be as bad as we think.
They're not.
They're not going to be Orioles
Corey
bad.
Dickerson, Jesus Aguilar, Francisco Cervelli, they made a lot of good quality signings. Matt Kemp, I mean, if he's got anything left in the tank. But they made a lot of good quality signings this offseason. I
Yeah.
think it will be a very, very... I think of all the divisions, it will be the most competitive. I think that's fair to say.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Without
absolutely.
question. Without question.
Quickly,
Any other quick points before we wrap up here?
Are we going to get Bellielli round 3 or not?
That's a good call. I'd say... I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say expect regression from Cody Bellinger.
All right.
I think Cody... I do, however, think Christian Yelich will have a fantastic year.
I'm going to say Bellinger has a great year this year.
Okay.
I say we're getting Bellielli round 3.
Hey, man, I'm all for it.
Maybe
if
I'm
it happens.
maybe I'm giving away my MVP pick. Maybe I'm not.
You said 2 people there. You never know. I think we
Exactly.
probably know.
You know
who
what? I
your
want to say
choose.
Mookie Betts is going to win NL MVP this season.
Oh,
Okay, all right,
Mookie
all right.
Betts. Trout's no longer in the way. He's going to win one.
Finally going to win his MVP and then
Hey, he
collect his
won.
No,
$400
he won
million
one.
pay.
In
He won one.
2018.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying in the NL, he's going to get one.
Yeah, that would be very fitting marching into free agency with an MVP on your
It's going to
belt there.
happen.
Oh, my
it's either going
goodness.
to be it'll either be him or Chris Bryant.
Okay, sure.
One of the two.
Why
One of
not?
the free
Why
agencies.
not? All right, any other main points you want to make there before we move on to the AL next week?
Any teams, anybody, any player, any teams in particular that you guys think will disappoint us?
Well, I've already given my team that's going to disappoint us.
Yeah.
Cubs.
Okay, that's fair.
But if
The
I'm going to give
Cubs.
a player, I'm going to go with Javier Baez.
All right.
All right, I am going to... I do think there's going to be some regression from Cody Bellinger. I still think he's going to be a superstar.
I don't. But
If I did think a player, okay, regress, I'm going to be completely honest here. Pete Alonso.
Okay, yeah, but I think that's natural to regress off 53
but not like
homers.
a natural regression. Like I think he's going to be exposed as more of a one-dimensional power guy this year. I really do. I really do. But we'll see. He could prove me wrong. He's a very talented baseball player. We saw what he did.
Have you seen him take live BP?
Yes.
A lot of line drives.
Yeah, it's insane.
A lot of line drives. No, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not worried about him, like, regressing to a one-dimensional guy as much because I think he's more of a line drive hitter.
I know we've seen the sophomore slump so many times. I think it's inevitable again for a guy like him. I'm not saying he won't have a good career. I just think this year in general.
I mean, Bellinger had it too.
He did.
Bellinger had it too, yeah.
Bryce Harper had it to an extent. Yeah, he had all these guys who had it. Judge definitely had it. Yeah, that's right. Was it rookie year when he set the strikeout record, or was that the next year?
That was the rookie year.
That was rookie year, yeah.
Well, his sophomore year, he got injured.
That's right.
Surprise, a Yankee getting injured.
Wow, imagine that.
I do have one quick point.
Sure.
What do we all think about Machado?
Manny Machado,
a guy who we're not really talking about, but he's a $300 million guy.
Hey, talk about a smart deal. Get paid $300 million to live in one of the nicest cities in the United States and disappear.
But is he having a bounce back year?
He is. He's going to return to a lead player level.
No, and Manny Machado said that he said the other day, I'm still a dangerous player. He is wrong when he says that he's not going to have a bounce back season.
He's going to have a bounce back year.
He's going to have a bounce back season.
He's not.
He's not going to hit 300, but he's going to return to.
I'm going to say Manny Machado hits 265.
All right, hey, it'd be better than last year when he hit 249. I mean, hey,
he hit 249 last year.
He did, and for the record, Bryce Harper at 260. But just he had a terrible year. Of course, Bryce Harper was terrible.
Paid more money.
Per year or
per year? It's Machado.
Per year, it's Machado.
No, total.
Well, I'll take the extra 30
million.
million.
He hit 256 last year, not 249.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Bryce Harper still beat him. So.
And he had 32 home runs.
And he was not Manny Machado level. That's the only point we're trying to make there. All right, we're a little bit over time here, so we're going to wrap it up here. We will be live again, of course, next week before spring break, and we're going to be talking about the AL, of course. A lot of interesting teams to talk about over in the AL. A lot of interesting predictions to be made, especially regarding certain teams that may not have a competitive advantage this year, if you know what I mean. Thank you, James. I was waiting for that. And, so with that said, we will see you guys next week. A reminder, please go ahead. Follow our Twitter. It is @NatPastimeCap. Love to get some more followers on there. Tonight's show will be posted on there in podcast form tomorrow around the evening time. And we will be live again next week here on WCOA Radio from 8 to 9. Thank you so much for listening. For my co-hosts, James Higgins and Robbie Cruz, I've been your host, Andrew Snaith. Have a fantastic night.